Hello everyone, we're back here with Joel, the founder of a new startup, and his startup name is Nexswiss. So I will let him introduce himself and the startup.
So hi everyone. Well, actually the startup is from 2018, but yes, we do new projects also every time. We did that with some friends when I was at EPFL. So I was a student at EPFL. Now I'm a student in EHL, the École Hôtelière of Lausanne, which is also a business school. The startup is doing mainly a classical platform in IT field, like we do reporting platforms, but also some innovation with some audio guides in the public transport and other cool ideas that we have sometimes.
Okay, thank you so much. So which do you think are the three main steps that you took in your path developing the startup?
Yeah, well, actually, in the path of developing the startup, I will say first, not doing the startup, but doing what you want to do as a project, not for the money, not for the business, but mostly for the experience. And that's what I was starting to do when I was at EPFL. We were like, I did an application to report a transport which was in Lausanne, a train that was always kind of late or not regular. And the idea was on each stop, the people can report that the train is 2 or 3 minutes late, and it will recompute the schedule for all the other stops. And it has like 1,000 downloads, so a lot of feedbacks, a lot of discussion, and the experience of doing a project. So that was really cool. That's the first step, like doing something you like and see where you can do, etc. The second step, of course, is to find clients. So to have to approach to some people, to not be afraid of saying, okay, I'm new in that, I can maybe do a better price. That would be the third step. Is like start small. Like you can a bit. If you're afraid of your value or afraid of not being the perfect people because you still need to learn, don't be afraid to say it. Like say, okay, I'm doing a good price because I'm new, but I'm dynamic. I will try to do a lot of things and etc. And you can create trust. So create trust, and that's a bit the package to launch yourself, I would say.
Okay, and how did you understand that there was a niche or that your product would be in demand for people? Like, where was the time that you stopped and said, okay, that's a good
product? But there is two approach mainly when you do a startup. There is the people that doesn't really know what they are doing. What they are doing it. Like you Swiss knife, you do a Swiss knife, they can do a lot of things, but you don't know what to cut with it. That's kind of the bad approach, I will say. Even if it's work, sometimes it's really surprising. And there is the other approach, more like about the market research, etc. I would like to say I like both of them. Sometimes I like the innovative part. I do Swiss knife, I don't know what to cut, and then I see. And some other times, if indeed you look. And for example, one time we were presenting a project also that was the audio guides to transport companies, and suddenly we were talking about another thing that we just finished, which is a report platform. And actually the discussion switched on that things, and it showed also there is some demand on something we didn't expect it. So sometimes it's not expecting, sometimes and you have to discuss, to share, to look like that, and this is how you realize, I would say.
Okay, thank you. And what do you think makes your startup special now?
Oh, a lot of things. Actually, the team is really important also, because, like, for example, when you have the right person, you also avoid some mistakes. For example, we have someone in the law team which was there from the beginning and is still there, and wow, we do the contract like perfect companies already. So yeah, the team is really important, but also the technology, the fact that you are creative, you try to search a new thing to be there, and we'll say also doing that for fun is also something, but seriously, of course.
Okay, perfect. And what do you think is then one of the qualities you look for in your teammates when you have to hire them? Whenever you have to find some qualities and you say, okay, this person has to be in my team. Yeah,
it's a matter of compromise also, but not compromise like this one or this one, but self-compromise. If he's doing or she's doing good in all the field and have something specific, but mostly the team is important because you need the right talent, but also the creativity for the people. So really depends also the what you need, etc. But the feeling is really important, and we do the interview not really like a real company that the questions. It's more discussion, multiple meetings. Sometimes it's from friend or friend that we know and we have a good feeling, etc. So having this approach is way more like agile, more startups based, and I like that for that. So yeah.
Okay, and where where do you see your startup in 5 to 10 years? Where do you wish to see it to?
Yeah. So I of course, still there, which will be the case, I'm sure. But no, mostly like a reference in Swiss, or at least the French part of Switzerland, for some tools or some. Because what I like to do also is being in contact with the client. That's also why I'm doing these things. So I want to be a reference in some fields in the IT world for doing consulting in that and providing great tools, but also worldwide with some really niche technology like the audio guides or things like that, where we can really provide something new, because for the innovation also that it's really nice.
Okay, thank you. And what would you wish to have done differently at the beginning, maybe to have had some more results at the beginning, maybe that was maybe slow or difficult?
Yeah, actually, like I said, the team is really important, but being too much also since the beginning, or being not enough people, this is a real challenge. And for us, the thing was maybe we were too much. So my father always said, like, sometimes you need to give a job to someone that is already 120% occupied by something, than someone that is 80%, because the one at 120 will find a way to do it quicker, better, and to not have to come back on it. It's a bit the same with the team. If you have too much people, you don't really know what you have to do. You don't, and if you are not enough, it can. So the right alignment would have been better, but also like sometimes being a bit less a Swiss knife and knowing a bit more what we want to do since the beginning. That's can be a good advice also. But
the focus more.
Yeah, not making too huge things, but start with a MVP, like start with something concrete where you can really get to the people. Yeah.
What would be one advice for the audience to start a startup, or they want to start something?
Yeah, before starting, share what you want to do. You know, there was a lot of people that said, I heard like, yeah, I have a great ideas, I can do it in my way, then I will share to you, but now I'm a bit afraid that someone copy, or that. No, that's the bad thing, because of an idea worth nothing until you share it, until you start to do something. So basically confront your idea, share it, look what he's doing. That's the best advice you can get, because that's the best way to know if what you are doing actually give a value to the world or not really, etc.
Okay, thanks. And do you consider your startup as a job or a hobby for you now?
Well, both, I think. Both. No, it's a job. I mean, I'm still finishing my studies, but it's a job because we make enough money to have like it as a job also. But it's a hobby mostly because you have to enjoy what you do when you do a startup. Sometimes there are parts that are not so enjoyable. Of course, it's happened to everyone. Either you find a way to make it enjoyable, either you find. I mean, you manage it. And for me, for example, I had to learn way more to be more business pushing, like to talk more about what I'm doing to the people, to try to sell it more, because I'm like, yeah, I'm doing the thing in my and then I come with it and maybe I try 1-2 people, but I'm not like every time like yelling that. This you have to learn when you do a startup, like to show what you do. So yeah, but basically both.
Okay. And is your EPFL background helping you in this, or in the development of the startup, in working, in approaching also it?
But actually, EPFL helped me a lot to become an entrepreneur also. Not EPFL as the institution, but EPFL as the community, the people there. I mean, of course, the institution do a lot also, but at that time, in 2016, something like that, I had the chance to be in contact with a lot of talent people, with a lot of laboratories, projects, and you see a huge talent, huge opportunities, huge ideas, and this is really great because it motivates you, it gives you the creativity, the interest, etc. On the other hand, it was a bit more complicated for me to manage EPFL and at the same time making a company, because it's also 3 years of a lot of theory in the bachelor, and I needed some time also to do the projects and something, maybe a school that is a bit less theoretical in a specific way, but more general for doing business. But what I really liked is having both worlds in my background actually, because the fact to know the people that are specialized, to even be you at one point studying until 3 in the morning for mathematics, it really gives you the value of expertise, of doing what you know and knowing what you do. But then being on a more global, like knowing everything but not knowing good everything, it also gives you the way to like connect this thing together and to come with something interesting. So yeah,
you see the benefit at the end.
Oh, clearly. Both school for me was really a great experience, and yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. So, what is one thing that has changed through the years in your lifestyle to be an entrepreneur on a daily basis?
Yeah, as I said before, like talking more about what I'm doing, but also like going to more events, or actually it's also that part that made me more social, I would say, like more willing to go to the people, because I'm like, every people have a story, every person have maybe inspiration also, and you can share, etc. So that changed me, because now I see everyone like a potential person to do something with, not necessarily business, but like share a world of value. And that was already the case a bit before I came with EPFL, but this really changed in EPFL. And for example, you have a lot of events in EPFL where you can go. Sometimes you not go, but you end up to maybe go still. For example, I remember in the Swiss Tech, sometimes I put a jacket on me, because when you have the jacket, the people doesn't know if you have the badge under it or not. Okay. So they are like, oh, you just have the badge, you just have the jacket, but you have the badge. But in fact, no. So don't do it really. But actually, if you do it, okay, maybe you have some interest sometimes, but not really proud, but it was really nice to be able to meet the people like that also, yeah.
What would be one book or movie or podcast or whatever that you suggest to people that they have to read and see or listen to?
Well, unfortunately, I don't read so much. Sometimes I listen to audio books, and the classical one, I don't have anything. No, there was a TV show that I really liked 5 years ago, something like that. It's called Halt and Catch Fire, something like that. It's like a bit Mad Men, if you know, but in the computer world in the 70s, about like making some computer stuff, some communities, and really startups in the IT world that is not really going well always, etc. There is also more recently The Dropout, with, that a lot of people knows now, that really interesting also for knowing what not to do actually also. And maybe a bit more drama thing like the Korean TV show that is called Startup, because it was really interesting in a way that at one point I was surprised, oh, they write it, because they made it even more realistic, but less show thing, even if it was a drama. So there is good thing to take, but of course the experience is better than the TV show at the end, or the YouTube. There's a lot of channels there.
Is there any idol or person you look for or that it really inspires you?
No, actually it's more the opposite. I like to take some people as people I don't want to follow. No, why I'm saying that is, if you don't make you, there is not one specific person, there is a lot. And there is a lot in both ways. A lot of people you don't want to follow. If you focus on one people specific, then you will just end up like not being yourself also at one point. So and I think a lot of entrepreneurs have a lot of things to learn, and also things to not reproduce, etc. So take the good part of multiple people, and critics, being critics. I mean, sorry for the word, but you.
Okay. Thank you so much then. Okay, and go follow Nexswiss on social medias and keep updated with their posts, guys.